Here's the truth. You've been setting your goals all wrong. I know it sounds dramatic, but hear me out, because this might explain why even when you hit everything you've been working towards, you still feel unaccomplished. It's not that your goals are bad, it's that the way that you're setting them is broken. Let me show you what I mean. When we're kids, our goals are always outcome based. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be famous. It's always something external. But if you really ask yourself why you wanted those things when you were younger, it was never just about the title or the status. It was about the way that you imagined that role would make you feel. Being an astronaut, that sounded absolutely epic, adventurous, important, admired. You were so cool. If you're a pro athlete, you imagine it would feel like confidence, power, and purpose and fun. And now that you're older, it's the same thing. It's just dressed up differently. You want to make money so you can feel secure or safe. You want to be happy so you can feel fulfilled. You want the body, the business, the lifestyle, because the feeling you attach to it is great, even if you didn't do it consciously. I remember when I got into Northeastern, that was a huge goal for me, get into a top college. I worked super hard. I wrote essays. I reflected on who I was. I had a vision. And when the email came, I saw congratulations. I was on the couch. I smiled. I hugged my family. I celebrated, called people. I was really psyched. But I'll be real with you. It wasn't the feeling I expected. The sudden rush of joy lasted maybe 2 minutes, and there was no deep inner transformation. It was like, okay, cool. What's the next thing I have to do? And even though it's always the exact same thing with every single one of my goals, it still really messed with me for a bit. Because for months, I had tied my peace to that outcome. I had told myself, once I get into a school I want to go to, I'll finally feel like enough or proud of myself. I'll finally be fulfilled. I guess proud of myself isn't the right word because I am very proud. But you know what I mean? I attached a feeling to an outcome, but that's not what happened. It just became the new normal. The bar moved up one more level. And it made me ask myself a deeper question. Why did I want this in the first place? Was it the name, the feeling of accomplishment, or was I just chasing something to validate my own worth? It wasn't about the school. It was about what I thought the school would mean for me. And that's when I started to realize that we're all doing this in everything we do. We attach our value to these future achievements, and then we feel empty when they don't deliver. But maybe the problem isn't the goal. Maybe it's the belief that if we achieve the goal, it will fix the way that we feel inside. So here's the problem. We confuse the symbol with the substance. We think the goal is what we're after, but what we're really after is the feeling we think the goal will give us. And that leads us to this endless cycle of chasing one thing after another, always hoping the next achievement will finally make us feel good enough, worthy, loved, at peace. But more often than not, you get there and you're like, hold up, this is it? It's like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you get. And be honest, I know this has happened to you, right? Like you've reached a goal, you've looked around and thought, is this all? Like again, another story is when I got to 10K downloads on my podcast, I refreshed the stats because I knew it was coming. I saw the number and I said out loud, let's go. I remember. But like 10 seconds later, I closed the app, closed my laptop, and went about my day. Nothing inside of me changed. And that's kind of scary. So what do you do instead? You flip the question. Instead of asking, what do I want to be doing in 5 years, 10 years, however you set your goals, ask, how do I want to feel in that time frame? How do I want to feel in 5 years or 10 years? Because if you don't start with the feeling, you're building a map with no compass. You're setting a direction without checking in on where your soul actually wants to go, where you actually want to end up, what you want to feel like. And here's the crazy thing. You can feel fulfilled before you achieve anything. You can feel proud, connected, alive right now in this present moment, and you don't have to earn it with external success. You just have to start living in alignment with it. When I started to notice that goals weren't giving me the fulfillment I expected, I knew I had to change how I approached life, because everything society had told me up to that point was in contrary to what I had just discovered. So instead of setting external goals, I began to ask myself every morning, how do I want to feel today? And then I'd reverse engineer my day to support that feeling. And I don't do that every day, but on an ideal day, if I want to feel present, I'll make time to meditate. And if I want to feel creative, I'll carve out space to write or brainstorm. If I want to feel connected, I'll text a friend I haven't talked to in a while, or be more intentional in my conversations. These things sound extremely small, but they have changed my life, because suddenly I stopped waiting on a goal to let me feel how I wanted to feel. I was choosing that up front. And what's crazy is once I did that, the goals started coming anyway. I felt more inspired. People connected with me more because I was showing up from a place of real alignment, not just ambition. And I heard this phrase. It was amazing. It's be, do, have. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Instead of instead of going about life the way that most people do, where they want to have something, then do something in order to be something. That's what you're doing right now. You want to get a thing so that you can do a thing, so that you can feel a certain way. Instead of that, start with the way you want to feel. Because when you start that way, when you become who you want to be, then you'll do things that you want to do, and then you'll have the things that you want to have. That's the law of attraction in less woo-woo way. That's how people create the lives that they want to live. So if you've been stuck in a cycle of when I get there, I'll finally feel good, try to flip it. Ask yourself, what emotion am I really chasing? And sometimes that's hard, but introspect a little, pontificate on it, write it down, and then build daily practices that give you that experience and that emotion right now. You'll be surprised at how much more energy you have. You're going from chasing something far away to living something real right here and right now. And here's a mind bender. When you attach your happiness to some goal you set a year ago, you're putting your current life, the one you have right now, in the hands of past you, of the one that set that goal. Someone who didn't know what you know now, didn't have the same experiences, didn't grow in the way you've grown over the past year. So why would you let that past self define your future joy? That doesn't mean you shouldn't set goals, but the goal should serve the feeling, not the other way around. Now, here's my personal belief. At the core of every goal, every dream, every mistake even, we're all chasing the same thing, and that's fulfillment. That quiet sense of, yeah, I'm living the way I was meant to live. Not adrenaline, we're not chasing constant pleasure, we're not numbing out on achievement, but that deep, grounded yes that lives in your chest when you know that you are aligned. We confuse it with happiness sometimes, but happiness is a mood, fulfillment is a state. Happiness can come and go with the weather. Fulfillment sticks with you through the storm. So here's the shift. Start setting feeling-based goals. Instead of saying, like I have openly, admittedly said a lot, I want to have 100,000 followers, say, I want to feel creatively alive and like what I say matters. Instead of saying, I want to be rich, I want to feel free and generous, and then reverse engineer the habits, relationships, and the daily actions to create those feelings. Because when you focus on fulfillment, you'll be shocked at how much success starts coming your way anyways. Why? Because fulfillment creates consistency, and consistency builds momentum, and momentum creates outcomes that actually last. Be, do, have. Now, I want to challenge you right now. Pause this video if you need to, grab a notebook, open up your notes app, and answer this question. How do I want to feel 5 years from now? Not what you want to be doing. Again, not how much money you want or where you want to live or who you're with. Just how do I want to feel? Do you want to feel peaceful? Do you want to feel creative, free, loved, grounded, energized, fulfilled? Once you have that feeling in mind, ask yourself, what actions in my current life bring me closer to that feeling, even in the smallest ways? And also, what actions take me away from it? Maybe the ones that bring you closer, like a 5-minute conversation with someone that you really enjoy talking to, or a morning routine, or a walk outside, or a meal with no distractions. Maybe the things taking you away from that are going on your phone immediately when you wake up, or I don't know, eating fast food. And so you start to audit your life now for a feeling, optimizing for a feeling instead of an outcome. And if you want, drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to build a community around people who are done chasing outcomes and are ready to start feeling again. So, if you've been chasing goals and you still feel a little empty, you're not broken. You're just chasing the right thing in the wrong way. Shift the focus. Go inward. Start with a feeling, not an outcome. Because your life doesn't start when you hit the goal. Your life starts when you choose to feel the way that you really, really want to feel. Start living from there. That's where fulfillment begins. If this resonated with you, it resonated with me a lot too. I have to admit that I'm not levels above any of you listening to this or going through the same problem. I'm there with you, right? I'm building these steps and writing these things because they help me, first and foremost. They help me realize that my life is not attached to an outcome. My identity is not my work. Like Jess Prudhomme said on a recent podcast episode, like, we are not what we do. We are us. We can be independent from our actions and we can be independent from our actions and our goals. We can be us. We're enough. We can be fulfilled now. And that's been huge for me, especially as I'm on this journey to 100,000 downloads by the time I go to college. Right now, it's looking like I'm not going to make it there. But again, it's not about it's not about that outcome. It's about how I feel and what I'm learning on the way there. That's really been the season of life that I'm in right now. It's prioritizing experience and learning over any type of outcome. Because honestly, that's all life is. Life is just a string of present moments strung together really tightly on a very long string, right? And so I don't want to sacrifice all these present moments to optimize for these future moments. I mean, sometimes you have to do it. It's a sacrifice. I have to make a good amount. But if I go too far, if I skew the balance where I'm sacrificing more right now than what I want in the future, then that creates a life that's not ideal. You're missing out on what's right now. So don't miss out on what's right now. Live your present life. You can do that while you're optimizing for your future. You can do that through duality of gratitude and ambition. Being grateful for what you have and leaning into that while also driving forward. And let that gratitude drive you forward. That's why I've been living my life, and man, am I grateful for it. I love my life. And I'm very thankful and grateful that all of you tuned in to this episode of the Grateful Podcast. Thank you. I'll see you later this week.